That's right. And after my allies win the PWX Tag Team Championships, I will go on to win the entire X16 tournament. And mystery opponent, I don't know who you are. To be quite frank, it doesn't really matter. Because to be honest, you won't make it past the first round.
Strong words from the revolutionary upstart, Tommy Thomas.
All right, let's find out who this mystery 16th entrant is in the second annual PWX X16 tournament.
Speculation has been going for weeks. What? Oh, man!
Did your speculation say this, Brad Studge?
Jake, this is an old friend of yours, if I remember correctly.
This is very true. Speaking of music that used to give me goosebumps in a bad way, ladies and gentlemen, this is the music of John Skyler, the man who I took this belt off of, the man who was the champ at the last X16, is now the 16th entrant in this prestigious tournament.
And there he is, the former World Heavyweight Champion. It was in John Skyler's hands that the PWX Heavyweight Championship became a World Heavyweight Championship. He was the first man to take it and defend it overseas. He has been absent ever since the night that he lost that championship to the man seated to my left, and the Southern Savior is back to his stomping grounds as the 16th entrant in this year's X16. Tommy Thomas, does this virtual rookie Darius Lockhart have a chance against a veteran like Skyler that he had no chance to prepare for?
Brad, are you kidding me? Skyler is a former PWX champion. He is the Southern Savior. All these people were right. They should be on their feet applauding this man. He is the savior of PWX.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is singles action scheduled for one fall. It is an opening round match in the 2016 PWX X16 tournament. Introducing first, representing the Revolt and accompanied to the ring by Zane Riley and Caleb Conley from Charlotte, North Carolina, weighing in at 205 pounds. He is the revolutionary Darius Lockhart. And his opponent from Waco, Texas, weighing in at 214 pounds. Please welcome back to PWX, the Southern Savior, John Skyler!
A huge ovation for the returning champion, Jake Manning. Same question. Does Darius Lockhart, in only his second or third year as a pro, stand a chance against a veteran like Skyler, who he had no opportunity whatsoever to prepare for?
Listen, that's the thing. Darius is young. He needs time to prepare for all opponents. I'm surprised that he allowed himself to put himself in this predicament. This is really a worst-case scenario for him.
Oh! Super kick to the jaw!
1, 2.
Oh! John Skyler almost advanced in record time, and Lockhart is to the floor seeking the shelter of his comrades in the Revolt. Jake Manning, I want to get back to that point. As Skyler takes it to the floor, do you believe, from your experience, that Caleb Conley and Zane Riley have maybe filled this young man's head with propaganda that he was ready to take on whoever the 16th entrant was?
This is absolutely true. See, a lot of things have changed in PWX since John Skyler left, but actually nothing's really changed for John Skyler. He's been fighting the Revolt before he even left. So nothing has changed for him. He's got laser focus on what he has to do. He's trying to get that belt back. He's been fighting the Revolt, and now he finds himself fighting the Revolt and trying to get that belt back. Nothing has changed for him.
So this is just a typical game day for Skyler against a revolutionary upstart.
Who needs an upset to pull it out,
Positively correct. Skyler takes it right into the front row. We thank you wherever you are in the world for joining us live on FloSlam, the initial public offering of PWX on FloSlam. Tommy Thomas, this building is rocking and rolling. So much energy as we are broadcasting live worldwide from right here in Charlotte.
Absolutely, and right now the fans are behind Darius, but it looks like Zane Riley is sticking his massive arms in this match.
Great looking knee strike that will disorient the former world champion. As you were alluding to, Tommy, Darius Lockhart has built up a big hometown following here in the greater Charlotte area.
Yes, this is definitely his neck of the woods. Same thing with the rest of the members of the Revolt. But Jake, I mean, you kind of had it coming to you, don't you think? I mean, you didn't give your friends a title shot. That's all you had to do. And now they had to fight for it. And now they have a triple threat match to earn those championships.
Well, speaking of propaganda, Brad Stutz, coming from Tommy Thomas now, if Zane and Caleb wanted a title shot, I would have gladly gave it to them, but they never asked. For whatever reason, there was bitterness, there was harsh feelings. I mean, they've been kind of, be holding up PWX, holding up their end of the bargain, and I understand where the jealousy came from. I put myself in a title predicament very fast, very quick. A lot of people working very hard.
Cover shoulders down.
Most specifically, Zane and Caleb and stuff like that. So I understand where the bitterness comes from, but all it takes is a conversation, a dialogue. But apparently these men are done with talking, and they're okay with cheap shots. They're okay with obviously filling up people's heads with lies, much like Darius Lockhart, who was a huge fan favorite. For you to say that he has the fans that he had before, I think is very much an overstatement on your part, Tommy Thomas.
I want to get to when you were with the Revolt, the conflict between the Revolt and what we might call PWX management came to a head in February of this year with War Games. We talked about it every month. It seemed like after War Games, the Revolt was a revolution without a cause. It seemed like you were the only one, Jake Manning, out of the Revolt who was still focused on a singular goal, that goal becoming champion. Do you agree with that assessment that after winning War Games, Zane and Caleb, quite frankly, had no cause to fight for anymore?
This is absolutely true. You look at all the great regimes and empires that fight wars and what happens to them afterwards. That's where we really find out what countries, what empires, what dynasties are all about. When they finally achieve what they've been trying to achieve, how do they handle themselves? How do they live their lives beyond that? There's many emperors, presidents, prime ministers that have not shown the type of respect and live the type of lives that they were fighting for. It seems like there are wartime generals and there are peacetime generals. Obviously, Zane and Caleb are wartime generals as opposed to peacetime generals.
It was a great moment right there. Oh, John Skyler just on top of Darius Lockhart. I was going to say the experience, the veteran savvy of John Skyler. He knew exactly when to smother that man, but Lockhart is coming up with a flurry, Tommy Thomas.
Oh, that was an absolutely incredible move. Look what he's learned from the Revolt. I mean, I feel like they taught him that.
No body weight on the shoulders, Jake Manning. Was that a mistake?
Absolutely. That's one thing that I always trust and put in and teach people at the high spots wrestling schools. You got to put all your weight on the shoulders. A lot of guys say hook a leg. I say put all the weight you possibly can on those shoulders. Look at somebody like Bret Hart. People always like, hey, he never hooked a leg, but he always put all his possible weight on the shoulders because it's about pinning those shoulders down for a 3 count.
Lockhart now looking to employ a very similar strategy to that of John Skyler a few minutes ago. When Skyler had Lockhart down on the canvas, he was laying on him. He was stretching him out. Darius Lockhart trying to do the same. John Skyler fighting up from underneath. You can attest to it, Jake Manning. You've been in many wars with him. Deceptively strong is John Skyler. He's got a compact frame. He's very difficult to maneuver.
Absolutely. And another thing, too, his time off, he's been spending time in the gym. He's been working out. And I can't tell you all the time on the road how much that heats you up. The fact that he's had a little bit of time to focus, get in the gym more, work on his body, work on his cardio, we're going to see the better part of John Skyler not being so beat up. You're going to see all of that coming in late in the match, which is happening right now.
Skyler using that frame to just mow down Lockhart. Tommy Thomas, oh, huge senton. Hold on, this might be all 2. I was going to say, Darius Lockhart has got 2 men in his corner. You have been the Carolinas Manager of the Year, 2 years running now?
Absolutely.
What does that advantage mean for Lockhart? If you're Zane, if you're Caleb, are you literally just looking for a shortcut? Do you have a plan in this moment for if your man ends up literally on the ropes?
In a situation like this, normally with a regular manager, it's 1 versus 1.5. In this situation, John Skyler is now having to take on 3 men. Even if they don't interfere, he's still got to keep his eye on Zane and Caleb. Like, Jake probably should have kept his eye on them.
Oh!
Spear!
Slingshot spear through the rope, shoulders down! And 2 and about 8/10 Jake Manning, really close near fall.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it takes a lot of, force that John Skyler's been put through there. Like, a lot of times you don't see him get a 3 count off of that, but he almost got a 3 count off of that spear. And that's the thing about John Skyler. He's been obviously adapted, made his moves work better for him. Like I said, normally he just gets a simple 2 count. For him to almost get a 3 count off of that just shows the hard work that he's put off on his time away from PWX.
Skyler stomping on the face of the Revolutionary. Now, Tommy Thomas, this is where you operate. When John Skyler leaves the ring, he's got to be extra cautious of the men on the floor.
Well, notice right now, Zane and Caleb looks like they're trying to make their way towards Skyler. The referee's distracted.
Oh, right down on the top rope. Lockhart diverts the attention of the official. This should be a disqualification. Oh!
Uh-oh. You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, boys.
And the Revolt are being kicked out of Charlotte.
Referee making an excellent call there, seeing the interference and just kicking him out, but not disqualification, still leaving it up to the 2 competitors in the ring, but getting the interference out of the way.
You sound like a hater right now, Jake. Stop hating. Congratulate Darius Lockhart. Come on, man. You're going to win this match. I know I cheered for Skyler when he came out. I was just happy to see him back. But Darius has got this in the bag.
Really a judgment call on the part of the official. I almost think if he had caught him literally in the act that it would have been a disqualification, but that's neither here nor there. Referee electing to allow the match to continue. It is now 1-on-1. One fall will win this matchup. Skyler may look to do it right here. DDT! Boom! Planted him that quickly. The moment.
Advancing to the quarterfinals of the X16 tournament, the Southern Savior, John Skyler.
The moment that it was down to 1-on-1, Skyler locked it up, Jake.
No surprise there. When it was no longer 3-on-1, John Skyler immediately took advantage of the situation, which makes him, I think, in a lot of people's book, maybe the dark horse throughout this whole thing. Only the dark horse because we didn't know what to plan. Nobody had him in his brackets. Nobody was accounting for him being here. Big surprise, big contender for the rest of the kingdom.
A former king has returned to his kingdom. Charlotte, North Carolina is rocking at the return of the Southern Savior. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take you to comment.